breaking news for the San Antonio Spurs. They have released Jeremy Sohan. He now he's becoming a free agent, and he can join any team he wants at this point. It all makes sense now, honestly, and I obviously don't agree with um the Spurs doing this. At the end of the day, I see why they did it, but I honestly am really sad to see Jeremy Sohan go. Um, and in the same breath, I'm also happy that he's going to get a chance to go to another team. I know the Suns were interested in getting him. I know the Knicks were interested in getting him. I know a team like the Lakers could use someone like Jeremy Sohan, a good defender, a good rebounder, bring some physicality to that team. But it all makes sense now. So obviously, if you're a Spurs fan and you watched the game last night, the Spurs destroyed the Lakers. It wasn't even close. But what I found interesting in that game, besides the fact that Wemby had 25 points in 8 minutes, that was neither here nor there. I found it interesting that we were up, who knows how much, like 30 plus going, 8 minutes left in the fourth, and we put in basically the whole bench. So Bismack Biyombo was in, Kelly Olynyk, Jordan McLaughlin. I think Carter Bryant was playing, which understandable. He's a rookie, get those minutes. He's just really getting solid minutes, rotational minutes now with the team. But they did not play Jeremy Sohan. They even played Keldon Johnson still and Dylan Harper, which I thought was silly because, they're pretty key rotational players for the Spurs team. And it didn't make sense for them to like put them in at that point in the game. I thought that was silly, but it is what it is. Now, the thing that I found interesting was that Jeremy Sohan didn't play. So he didn't play at all. He was healthy this game. Um, before the deadline, he was dealing with quad soreness, I think they were just being safe and trying to get rid of him, so they weren't playing him. But in the past couple games, Jeremy Sohan has been healthy and he's not gotten any minutes. And especially in this game where, it's the first of a back to back, you're trying to rest your starters for the next game, keep them fresh, and you don't play Jeremy Sohan when you're up 30 with 6 minutes left in the fourth, but you play Bismack Biyombo and Jordan McLaughlin. It didn't make much sense to me. Now it makes sense, which it kind of comes as a shocking move because after the deadline, it was from what I was told and what I heard and what I read, the Spurs were not planning on releasing Jeremy Sohan, and that Jeremy Sohan and his team and the Spurs all seemed content with being um, just leaving him on the team for the end of the year, and he becomes a free agent next year. But apparently that is not the case. I don't know if maybe Jeremy Sohan was really upset that he literally wasn't getting any minutes, or it was the Spurs more like, okay, we really don't see a future with you on this team, especially with the resurgence and the rise of Carter Bryant, who's been getting minutes as of recently. So at this point, it makes sense. Like you're really not going to find minutes for Jeremy Sohan anymore, which is upsetting because if you're a Spurs fan, you've been a Spurs fan for a while. I mean, he was at one point one of our premier, young guys and considered one of the core guys for this team. Um, but how quickly one season changes that. Just a year ago, Keldon Johnson was seen as a guy who was going to be traded next. And then Jeremy Sohan was seen like as a almost untouchable. That is completely flipped now, and Jeremy Sohan is released. So I assume a team will pick him up pretty soon. Teams value defense, and obviously he's not a good shooter, but um, I think a team can see value in Jeremy Sohan, and obviously there were teams interested in Jeremy Sohan before the deadline, so I think he'll find a home somewhere. But it's sad because I think the Spurs really messed it up the way they used Jeremy Sohan. Personally, I get it. Totally understand it now. Like the San Antonio Spurs are playing really well. They're second in the West. Um, Everyone's playing really well when everyone's healthy. Like we're really good, and especially with Carter Bryant now getting minutes, um, Jeremy Sohan doesn't really have a place on this team anymore. Like you have Fox, you have Harper, you have Castle, Vassell, Johnson, Champagny, Barnes, Cornette, obviously Wemby. That's already 9 players who are getting minutes, and now you throw in Carter Bryant. You already have a 10-man rotation, so that is as deep as you need to go. There really was no point for keeping someone on this team. I get that, but at the same time, it's frustrating. One, because I do like him. I loved him out of Baylor. I thought the Spurs, you know, got a really good player at 9 overall in the 2022 NBA draft, I believe. And I thought he had really good potential. He seemed like a good high energy guy, physical defender, very versatile defender, can literally guard 1 through 5. He's done it. He played point guard his rookie year or second year. He played backup center, which it was never his true position. And I do feel like the Spurs kind of messed it up because although the point guard experiment did help Sohan really get better offensively, um, and then playing his second or third year at backup five, just they're out of position for Sohan, and it really never gave him time to really develop into what he is. Obviously, he tried to get down the shot. The shot looks much better now. At least he will shoot them now. Like in his rookie year, he would literally just not shoot it. His shot is not completely broken now, but he's still not a good shooter, but a really good defender, like I've said. Um, Anytime we played the Mavericks or even the Lakers as of recently, he always guarded Luka really well, and it's just tough to see that go. A guy that seemed like all the Spurs players loved, especially Wemby. I believe Sohan was the first guy to call Wemby when he was drafted by the Spurs, so it sucks, obviously. But again, I understand it now. The only thing the only other part of it that makes this kind of frustrating is the fact that all this year the Spurs were not playing Carter Bryant, really getting minutes. So at that point, you only did have a 9 man rotation, which is still really good. But I felt like we had a deep enough team to either get Sohan or Carter Bryant in those minutes. And they really just kept Carter Bryant on the bench the whole year. Same thing with Jeremy Sohan. And I felt like that was doing no one no good. Um, and I guess Mitch Johnson doesn't like the fact that Sohan can't shoot, but I never understood that because, the Spurs have Castle who doesn't shoot the three ball well. Harper is not a good 3 point shooter yet. We have plenty of guys on this team that aren't great 3 point shooters. Fox is not a good 3 point shooter, but they got minutes. Obviously, I'm not saying Sohan is nearly as good as Harper or Castle, but the point of that, oh, he can't shoot, so he can't play, I thought was silly. So yeah, he's released. He'll find a home somewhere. I'm pretty sure. I think either the Suns, Knicks, or Lakers will get him. Those are the 3 teams that make sense that I know had interest in him beforehand. So we'll see if any other teams emerge. I'm sure there will be some other teams, and but I'm happy for Sohan. Hopefully, he gets to go somewhere and gets a play actually, and it just makes sense, I guess. The Spurs and the way their future looks, it looks like Carter Bryant is going to be what Jeremy Sohan was, and with just a better shot. Harrison Barnes will probably either re-sign him to a pretty cheap deal, or he's going to become a free agent next year. So you still could have used the depth, or they get someone in the draft. But either way, this whole thing is sad for me anyway, as a Spurs fan who really liked Sohan in his game, um, and just his energy and his mentality. To see that go, is just it's kind of heartbreaking. But for a lot of Spurs fans, I'm sure they really don't care because he wasn't getting minutes this year anyway. But if you're a Spurs fan, let me know down below what you think about this. If you saw it coming, if you're sad, if you're happy. Let me know who you think the is going to pick up Sohan in free agency, if anyone at all. And just any thoughts, critiques, ideas, please leave it down in the comment section below. I'd love to hear from you guys, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace.